What's going on, collectors? Welcome into Ross Loves Cards. Today, I am pleased to share with you that I picked up a dream card of mine. You know, that's one thing about dreams. You know, my dream probably is not the same as everybody else's. When I show this card, you're not going to think, boy, Ross, me and you've got the same dream. And that's okay, because I love my dream and my dream card. And I just want to go ahead and tell you a little bit how this came about being my dream card. I got into collecting sports cards, say, when I was 5 or 6. I was into baseball cards. Now, my mom would never let me play baseball past T-ball. She thought it was too dangerous. So I still like the baseball cards, but about 3rd grade, I got into basketball. And with that came back to basketball cards. I started collecting them. My favorite player was Hakeem Olajuwon. Every card I could find of his, I would buy. So this probably was in 1994, 95. I started going to my local card shop. He'd keep a whole stack of Hakeem cards, and I'd go through them, buy what I didn't have, and then he got to where I'd buying so much, he'd set aside a separate stack for me, and he'd let me go for them before he'd put the stack. And I just get singles as I go along. I never price checked anything. If I went in there and he had a card for $3 and I had $3, me and him traded and we was both happy. You know, I could have paid 5 times what the cards is worth, but it didn't matter to me. I was just doing it because I loved to have them. So I had a small collection of Hakeem Olajuwon. I'd never wrote a single card down. I just put it all to memory. When I was going through, I've now found I bought 6 doubles while I was collecting Hakeem Olajuwon cards. But I had never bought his rookie card. And I'd seen one online, I guess it was a little bit over a week ago. I was kind of looking at it and I was thinking, you know what, I really like that. I had been looking at 9s, and then I thought, well, I could drop down to a 7, you know, and save quite a bit of money. And when I was thinking about that, broadening my search out, I found an 8. So I sent the link to a fine card collector and said, what do you think of this? And I was just kind of, you know, wanting to know what his thoughts, if the card looked all right to him. You know, sometimes when I get excited about certain cards or things, I don't think things through. You know, I've got to have an outside perspective look at it, because if I see something I want, you know, I just kind of want to go for it. But he sent me back, he actually did some comps and sent the comps back to me, more than I could ever dreamed him doing. And I went ahead and I said, you know what, I'm going to buy it. So I told the wife to buy it, and a few days later came my 1986 Fleer Hakeem Olajuwon. It's in a grade of an 8, and I absolutely love this card. I've been a fan of Hakeem Olajuwon for over 30 years, and I'd never bought his rookie card. Never even crossed my mind about having his rookie card. Well, it did several years back, but you know, when I was growing up and collecting, I had the shop here and a shop that was, I don't know, probably 100 miles away from my hometown. I'd check there, and anytime I go to a place that had a card shop, I'd go look in, see what they had, and never had this card. And to be honest, I bought that card that Saturday night. Yes, I guess it was a little bit over a week ago. I bought that card that Saturday night. And I kind of noticed my pulse was up a little bit. You know, I was breathing a little bit heavy. I think I had some adrenaline rushing. I know back when I was deer hunting, you know, I shoot a deer and I get done. And after you hear the ringing stop ringing in your ear, you can start to hear how fast your heart's beating. You're just so excited, you know. You go out there to hunt, but you're still surprised when you're successful. My dream card, this card, when I got it, you know, when I bought it online, kind of had that same feeling. I thought, you know what, this is it. This is what collecting cards is about. Just love this card. Love this feeling I'm having. Now, this isn't my most expensive card by any means. and it's not the, well, I was gonna say but it's not an expensive card, but I tell you what, I was excited about buying this as I have been anything in a long time. And when it came in, I kind of had that same feeling opening it up when it came in the mail. I was just excited to have it in hand. Got that whole experience again. And you know what? Just looking at it here today makes me think back to, all those times of collecting cards, going to the card store, asking for the Hakeem Olajuwon stack, and thumbing through, seeing what I had and what I didn't. Since then, I've also been going through that set registry and looking at the cards and going through organizing my cards to see what I have and what I don't. And I can't believe how many cards I didn't have. I thought I'd looked and bought everything, but there's so many. I'm still not even a quarter of the way through going through that registry, writing them down by hand, what I need and what I have. But I think within that next 24 hours after buying this, I bought 8 cards, I think it was. Now, I spent like less than $20 off of 8 cards, so they're not high dollar cards either. But it's exciting getting to make that list and check things off and getting a dream card of mine. That's the thing about dream cards. Like I said, our dreams aren't the same. Sometimes your dreams may be bigger, and that's good. I've got dreams that are bigger too. But let's not forget to appreciate the small dreams, the small achievements. It could be a $10 card you can get excited about. I remember when I first started hunting, the guy who taught me to hunt, I said, should I wait for a buck or what's the deal? And he says, Ross, with you, if it's brown, it's down. Just don't even worry about it. Just shoot whatever you see that comes by. And the next year I asked him the same question. He says, well, that depends, Ross. Are you still excited to go hunting even if you get a doe? And I said, yeah. He said, well, just keep after it then. Whatever your goals may be, trophy hunting. And you know what? Good for you. I like to see trophies. I may not have a big trophy buck on the wall, but it doesn't mean I don't love hunting, don't love participating in the sport or hobby. Now, since then, I no longer participate in hunting, but I still like talking about it and use them same examples because it did teach me lessons. And kind of like this lesson, your big card hunting can be smaller than this or bigger than this, but it is still so much fun to have a dream come true. I hope you all are out there and chasing your card collecting dreams. Thanks.